welcome back to my channel. For today's video I thought I would do another tag video. Not too sure when this is going to go up. This might be a look that you've seen a little while ago. I know I've done a few tags recently, but this was one that I found quite interesting and I thought it was quite apt for my recent thoughts. This is the makeup addiction tag, and I believe this was created by Tracy Beauty. I think I just stumbled across this video when I was browsing through my kind of suggested videos one day. I thought it was quite a fun video idea to do. I would definitely say I've become addicted to makeup as of late. So there are 14 questions to go through, so let's get started. Question 1 is, how long have you been addicted to makeup? I've probably only been full on wearing makeup since about 2016-17. Before having my daughter, I would wear makeup if I was going out, and even then I'd only wear kind of powder foundation. I would never wear liquid foundation. I wouldn't really wear eyeliner. I was wearing kind of one colour of eyeshadow all over my lid, a bit of mascara, and that was about it. There wasn't much to it. It was kind of to do it because everyone else was doing it. I wasn't that bothered. If I didn't wear makeup, I wasn't that bothered. I didn't fill in my brows or anything like that. It was probably due to YouTube that I became addicted to makeup, because when I was on maternity leave with my daughter in 2016, I found myself watching a lot of YouTube videos because it was easy to kind of dip into a 10 or 15 minute YouTube video than get into watching a TV programme, for example, which I would then try and get engrossed in but get distracted with my daughter. So YouTube was great to be able to just dip in and out of. I could watch videos as long as I needed them to be, whereas a TV show was always going to be 20 or 40 minutes, whereas I could kind of control how long of a YouTube video I was watching. So that was probably my downfall and where I became addicted to makeup, watching YouTube. So I would say at this point it's probably at least 2 years, maybe 3. Question 2 is, what makeup item are you most addicted to buying? This one was a toss-up between eyeshadows and lipsticks. I did go with eyeshadows in the end, but now I'm thinking I maybe should have gone with lipsticks. I think the reason I say lipsticks is because I find myself more easily buying a lipstick because they tend to be cheaper than eyeshadow palettes. I can probably find myself taking or leaving a lipstick, whereas eyeshadow palettes, I do find it sucks me in that bit more. So I would have to go with eyeshadow palettes, but it is really close between that and lipsticks. The next question is, how many of your favourite items do you have? I take that to mean how many of the previous questions do I have, because I remember from watching Tracy Lee's video that she said it was eyeshadow palettes as well. I think she had 100 and something, which I've not by any stretch of the imagination got that. I think at last count it was 20 something, I think early 20s, maybe like 22, 23. There's probably an eyeshadow palette hint somewhere that I've forgotten about, but I think it's early 20s for the amount of palettes I've got, which is a hell of a lot considering that I've only got 2 eyes. And it is actually making me wear eyeshadow every day. Going to work, I just never used to wear eyeshadow. It'd be mascara, that would be about it. But now I find myself wearing eyeshadow every day. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying applying it, but I think the reason I started doing it was because I felt like I needed to start actually making use of the multitude of eyeshadow palettes that I had. Question 4 is, do you buy makeup just to buy it? Sometimes, I would say. I think if something catches my eye, and even if it's not something I necessarily need, I will just buy it because it looks nice, and it might be a while before I actually get around to even opening it because I've got that much other stuff open in my collection, and I am conscious that I don't want too many things open because they will go off. But yeah, I would say sometimes I do just buy things for the sake of it, because maybe to just cheer myself up if I've had a bad day, or if it falls that I see something and it's payday or something like that. So question 5 says, do you look at an item and need just one more to complete a collection? I would say with this one, probably no. I think if money was no object, I could see myself being a kind of makeup collector, and having full sets of things. Like, for example, I have got quite a few of the naked eyeshadow palettes. Maybe if money was no object and I was just going to collect makeup, I would try and collect all of the naked eyeshadow palettes. But I'm not overly bothered about having a complete collection. Plus, I think if I did end up having a complete collection of something, it'd put me off actually using them, because I then wouldn't want to run out of one of them and then not have a complete collection because I've used up one of the whole products. So I don't think so, but sometimes I do think, well, I've got one, I might like another, but it's probably not the same thing. Question 6 is, do you have more than 10 mascaras? And if so, how many are open? On last count, I think I've got about 20 mascaras, and I would say probably half of them are open, so I think I've probably got 10 open. I am in the process of trying to finish off as many as I can before I open any new ones. So any ones that I've received or bought recently, I'm keeping sealed, and I'm going to wait until I've finished at least half of the ones I've got open, if not more, before I open any new ones. But I've definitely got more than 10 mascaras. I did have a period recently where I just loved trying new mascaras, and I did buy quite a few and ended up opening them immediately to try them, and then fell down this rabbit hole of a lot of open mascaras. Question 7 is, do you ever throw makeup away? I'm not too sure how to answer this one. I do regularly kind of try and declutter my collection, but what I find I end up doing is, if I'm decluttering something, I put it to one side to see if any friends or family want it, and then it somehow never makes it to the bin. The same if I try a product and I don't like it, I'll mention it to a friend that they might like it, but then sometimes I never get around to giving it to them, or it ends up they don't want it, and then I just never seem to put it in the bin. So I probably don't really throw makeup away. I do need to have a look, because I think I've got a drawer somewhere with quite a lot of things in that I'm never going to use, and friends have told me that they don't want, that I just need to bin. I did have a big overhaul a while ago and did bin quite a lot of things that either I didn't like or had pretty much finished up or had gone off and things like that, but it is probably long overdue for me to do another one of them. Question 8 is, what is your oldest makeup item? I'd probably say the Urban Decay Naked palette. I don't think I've got any really old lipsticks that I haven't decluttered. I think my oldest ones have probably decluttered. Mascaras I definitely won't have ones that old. My Urban Decay eyeshadow palette is definitely my oldest eyeshadow palette. Eyeliners and things I don't tend to keep for that long. So yeah, I'd probably say it is that, the Urban Decay Naked palette, the original one. Question 9 is, how often do you shop for makeup? Actually buying things, it's probably only once or twice a month. Browsing is probably every single day. Usually I'm getting some kind of marketing email from whatever makeup shop or website, and I usually do click through and just have a look and see what they've got. Most of the time I check my personal emails in my lunch hour and work, and then end up just clicking through the websites. Also, while I'm watching telly overnight, if what I'm watching is not really interesting me, I'll have a flick through some makeup sites and see what's there. I'm pretty good at being able to resist to purchase everything I see and like. I think I remember Tracy Lee saying this as well. I do have a habit a lot of the time of kind of just filling my basket with things that I would like, and then I end up going to the basket, seeing that it costs an extortionate amount of money, and then just never checking out. But I seem to get some kind of satisfaction in actually adding it to my basket. Occasionally I will take everything out, bar one item, and obviously check out, but I don't know why, I just kind of like online browsing and seeing what I would purchase, again if money was no object. But actually purchasing, if I did think about it properly, it is, so obviously sometimes I do purchase more, but on an average month it's probably only 1 or 2 times a month that I do actually purchase makeup. That's probably still more than most people. Question 10 is, do you buy any product just for the packaging? And I'm definitely guilty of this in the past. I'm trying not to do it as much anymore. I even did a whole video dedicated to makeup I just bought for the packaging, so I will try and link that somewhere if I can. So yeah, I've definitely been guilty of it, but I am trying harder. I did actually see a collection not that long ago which was from Wet n Wild, and it was the Pac-Man collection, and luckily, I say luckily, it isn't actually available in the UK. It does look like it's only available in the US, but if it was here then I can't promise I would have been able to stay strong, because the makeup brushes that are in that collection look so cool with the sort of glitter bits in the handle. The liquid lipsticks are named after the alien things, whatever they are, in Pac-Man. Each of the 4 colours have got a lip gloss, or I think it's lip gloss, of that colour. One's blue, one's red, one's bright pink, and I think one's orange. Not shades I'm going to wear, but I would actually quite like to have that collection because it looks really cute. They have lip scrubs which are shaped like an apple and a cherry. So yeah, I do get drawn in by packaging, but usually I can hold strong. Question 11, when a new item is released, do you set an alarm for it? I don't think I've ever done that before. I've done it for subscription boxes if it's a limited edition subscription box and it's going to sell out by a certain time, but for an individual makeup range or makeup product I don't think I've ever set an alarm. My kind of theory is, if at the point I see about it being released and I go to buy it and it's sold out, then it wasn't meant to be that I purchase it. So I do that to kind of save me money by not setting alarms. I don't think there's anything that has made me want to set an alarm, to be honest. Question 12 is, do you have the Sephora or Ulta app on your phone? Neither of these apps are kind of applicable to me because I can't shop in Ulta or Sephora here in the UK, but I do have the Beauty Bay app and the Feel Unique app on my phone, which are probably the equivalent. But I do find myself a lot of time just ending up going through an email into my browser anyway, so I don't tend to use the apps an awful lot. I do just tend to go through the browser. Although I do need to turn notifications off on the Beauty Bay app because they send quite a lot of notifications and then I get the email. So Beauty Bay is quite bad for making me go on their website. Question 13 is, do you have so much makeup that you forget what you have and purchase items again? I think I probably have done this in the past. Only a couple of times though. I think there's been something where I've bought it that long ago, forgot I've had it, and then I've purchased it again because I thought, oh, that's something I like to try, and it's already something I have. But that has happened less than a handful of times. I'm more guilty of buying a backup of something because I think I'm going to run out of something and then the item ends up lasting me longer and I don't get around to my backup. That happens more often than not. Thing that springs to mind with that is the e.l.f. Under Eye HD setting powder that I use. I was determined I was going to run out of that pretty quickly, and I think I purchased 1 or 2 backups of that and I'm still on the first one. So I would say I'm guilty of that more than forgetting items that I've purchased. And then finally, question 14 is, does your makeup make you happy? I would say yes, it does, because it gives me confidence that I don't necessarily have in my natural face kind of thing. It also gives me a kind of distraction. I do like playing with makeup. If I've had a hard day or something like that, I do sometimes just like having a play around and creating an eyeshadow look and then taking it off 5 minutes later. So I would say my makeup does make me happy. On the other hand, it does stress me out sometimes in that I know I have too much and I don't need it, and I've spent too much money that I could be spending on other things. But more often than not, it does bring me joy, so I try and focus on that side of things rather than it stressing me out. So I thought this tag was really fun. I tag anyone watching to do this video themselves. I will link Tracy Lee's video in the description box below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.